Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Sydney Elliott. I'm a member of the Winchester High School National Honor Society. We would like to thank you for your willingness to be interviewed today. Our plan is to include these full-length interviews as part of the Winchester High School History Department's virtual archive. We will also be using short segments of each interview, your interview, for our virtual Veterans Day program this year. Since we can't have a big one, we're going to put it online on Facebook so you can watch the video live, or it's going to be a video posted on the Winchester Schools website. The Winchester students will watch this program at school in the classrooms on Veterans Day. It will also be posted on the school's website. Okay, so if you don't mind, we're going to get started. And if there's any questions that you don't want to answer, you don't have to. So first, can you please tell me your name and your years of service in the military?
My name's Chuck Roberts. I entered June 10th, 1969. I got home from Vietnam from December 22nd, 1970.
Mm-hmm.
I got home early. Nixon was winding down the war, and I got what they called a Christmas drop. I was supposed to come home in February.
Yeah. Why did you pick the service of branch that you joined?
Oh, they picked me. I didn't pick it. I got a nice letter in the mail said, if you don't mind, would you come to St. Louis to be inducted? It didn't work that way. It said, you be there.
Yeah. What branch was that?
Army.
The Army. Okay. What do you remember about like your camp and training experiences?
Okay, I took basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the haircut was one of the biggies. They didn't want individuals. They wanted to be people that looked like one another, and it worked. So that they could mold you into what they needed.
Yeah.
That was one thing. The other experience was the drill instructors. They hollered at you from morning to night, and I could remember when I first got there to my unit, we had a chaplain come and see us, and he says, if you've got any problems, any personal problems, anything with the family, anything like that, my door's always open to you. Come see me. This is where I'm at, and he pointed to the building he was at. And when he left, the drill instructor said, it's the last you see him.
Like what helped you get through like your boot camp or
Well,
training?
I think a lot of it was just pride.
Yes.
I didn't want to embarrass my family by washing out, I wasn't terribly physically fit. I weighed 260 pounds when I went in. And so the physical end of it was a struggle. And I almost missed that test, passing. And, I wasn't going to go back through all that stuff again. I
Right.
made a point to pass it.
During your years of service, are there a couple of memorable moments, people, or experience that you would like to be willing to share with us?
I have two that come to mind. The first one was, this might be a little tough. I was in Vietnam. I was in the 101st Airborne.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on R&R. I was a machine gunner, infantry.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy, I picked the guy that could carry it. And Andy Pierce was his name. And when I went on R&R to Sydney, Australia, because I want to see some round-eyed people that would talk English and close to what we talk.
Right.
And when I got back to my unit, it was late that night, and they said that the men were going to come in the next day, and so I didn't have to go out. I got to sleep on a cot instead of sleeping on the ground. Well, about 2 in the morning, I got word I needed to go down to Graves registration because they'd been overrun. He got killed, and then they also took the weapon the machine gun that I carried for like 6 months. They took it, and it doesn't compare with him being killed at all, but, so I wear this in his honor.
So sorry for your loss.
Yeah. thanks, so he died in my place. Nobody will change my mind about it. The second one was a guy named Jerry Sleevey from New York, and he was a tracker. They trained trackers. If we got hit in the night, he'd be able to follow the trail and find them. So I used him as a point man. The point man was to clear the way for the rest of us. He was the eyes. He was always watching the ground for sights and sounds and everything. And we'd stopped one day that we were really grubby looking, and his pant leg was torn at the knee. And he stopped and was wiping the sweat off of us, and he felt something on his knee. He looked down, there was some string like that you could barely see strung across the trail, and it was a 1/4-pound block of TNT that was waiting for us, and that's how close we'd come.
Wow.
That's scary.
Do you recall the day your service ended? What did you do in the days after?
The day that I was to leave the field was it was a memorable day because I hated to leave those. We were like brothers. We were closer than brothers
Right.
because we depended on one another for our
Right.
lives. So the day I left, I gave them my stuff, that I had accrued, where it was canteens for carrying water, where it was a favorite knife that I had gotten. I hated to leave them, but I didn't miss any steps getting on the helicopter to go. The following year, when I got home, I'd worked for, what did I do? I worked for a vending company for 5 years. I worked for a nursing home for 27 years. I like to move around a lot.
Yeah.
And then I worked for State of Illinois for the highways for 6 years. Up until I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had to quit. I was one of the weird people. I wanted to go back to work, and most people want to leave, so.
Yes. How did your service and experiences affect your point of view on life now?
Taught me discipline.
Right.
Taught me that we're able to do far more than what you think you possibly can, physically and mentally, but more physically. It taught me, until you do without your freedoms, you don't know what you've got here.
Right.
That's the biggest takeaway I think I would share with anybody. We've got it made, and we just don't realize it.
You take too many things for granted.
Exactly.
You don't realize what you have until it gets taken away.
That's right. You give up that when you're in the service, you give that up. And when you see how the Vietnamese people thought we were all millionaires, and we are compared, they had nothing.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to add that we have not went over yet?
I think we've covered it pretty well. I appreciate you guys doing
Yes,
it.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you very much.